You know, I'm beginning to think this Blackwood Forest isn't as bad as everyone says it is. I'm sure Grundle will agree in part 5.
Let's go. And I turn and walk the direction we were proceeding prior to this whole thing happening.
Yes, okay. And Dandelion, like the divining rod, will guide you down the path towards where you had first encountered the vampire, or where Grundle had first encountered the vampires. Grundle, you feel 3 sensations now. The first is the coppery taste of the vampire's blood that's sprayed into your corpse's mouth. You taste it on your tongue. The second is you hear a thump, 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 like 3 thump, 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 thump. The party's heartbeats as they they fade, right? You can hear the thrumming in your own mind. And then the third, of course, courtesy of Dandelion, is the scorched flesh on your vampiric body as you rise.
I'm oh so hungry.
Grundle, can you make me a Constitution saving throw, please?
I'm wondering if I should change colors of the dice that I'm using for Grundle. I think I will. Got just the die for him. 16.
That hunger tries to overwhelm you. You know, you're like just waking up now as this newly appointed, this vampire spawn, like being born again. You're able to get a rein on the hunger before it takes you over. The rest of the party is, you're only about 15 feet away or so. You hear this movement, and you hear Grundle waking up behind you.
What was that?
I spin around thinking the vampires are back.
Oh, what? Where's all my things? My
whoa,
clothes?
Whoa. Who's that?
It's me.
I pull an arrow back. You were not alive. He's been bitten.
Prove it's you.
I mean, we can see it's him. It doesn't mean it's him.
I don't have my poof pouch. It's the first thing I checked when I woke up.
Oh, it's definitely him. He checked for a poof pouch, yeah.
You can see the burns, thanks to Dandelion, across Grundle's body. They're starting to knit and heal.
Malik?
Come forward slowly, Grundle. And I hold my bow out with an arrow notched at his head.
That's usually how I come forward, Malik.
As Grundle approaches you, he kind of steps, through the dim light into the bright light of the torch. And, Grundle, your robes are just charred and in tatters as they just, fall off of you. You're now completely nude in front of the party. The last of the burned flesh, healing over.
Woo! Look at that Grundle.
What's the ambient temperature in the woods?
He does have a soft bottom, I would say. That looks like a soft bottom.
Yeah, it's a little chilly.
Any indication, looking at him, his eyes, or has he got dead eyes? Is there anything that would alert me to the fact that we know this is not some kind of reincarnation other than what I would believe would be, undead?
Now, you didn't get a chance to see Grundle without his shirt on before, but as everybody knows, once you become a vampire, you immediately get a six-pack. So Grundle is now washboard.
Ripped.
Is that all it takes?
That's all it takes.
It's the
Just a little
easiest
nibble.
diet ever.
Best decision ever.
Where do I find me a vampire?
Can't have him one-upping me. I'm going to have to kill him.
Malik, as Grundle, again, stepping into that bright light, like the torch light you holding in your hand, I imagine you kind of leaning forward a little bit with the torch, right, to get inspect him almost. And the light, flashes across his eyes now. The irises have gone red.
Look, I know I do feel a little bit different, but I'm still me.
Stop there. Stop!
Okay.
I look back at Ravina. He is no longer human.
Come on, guys.
Are you feeling hungry? Just don't eat us and we're cool.
How can we trust you?
Well, this is all very new to me, but I
I know you hunt monsters, Malik, but look at him, he's no monster.
Not at this point. I know there are ways to have this remedied, but far more expense than I would be able to pay. Are you suggesting we take him with us?
Look, I still have my wits about me. I can't guarantee that I might get an urge to, maybe have a nibble on something or someone, but I'm not gonna hurt you. I would never do anything to you're starting to, feel like friends to me.
I walk over with torch in hand, put my bow across my back, walk over to him, I grab him by the shoulder, keeping an arm's length, and I push him up towards the front. You lead!
So, on the topic of carrying on further, any chance that I might have my things back? It's a bit chilly out here.
Yes, I can tell.
I shake my head no.
Not even the pouch?
We can give him his clothes back. Come on.
His clothes are on the ground, right?
They burnt.
Burned.
Yeah, was I burnt with? Okay, so the clothes went up when I was burned. Okay, so it's just my my extra belongings, my staff and spellbook and pouch and that sort of stuff. I'm not much without my poof pouch, and I'm sure you've seen by now it's mostly harmless.
Give him whatever he needs to cast spells while we're out here in case we get into a
Till
fight.
we know he can be trusted, there's no reason to give him anything to fight us with.
Leland, would I know if Greater Restoration would cure vampirism?
Dandelion, you don't believe Greater Restoration can cure it. And if Greater Restoration would have an effect on Grundle, you would... it won't bring him back to life. Like, if it was able to cure the vampirism, he would then just be a corpse. Because he is undead now.
Okay. So while they're talking and arguing with him about whether or not to give him stuff back, I'm going to be fondling my necklace of prayer beads and decide against it.
I mean, Malik, are you really threatened by this little guy? He's fine. We can do this.
You've seen what these creatures can do. 2 of them just escaped into the forest. I'm sure they'll be back.
But it's Grundle. Look at his little soft bottom.
And I push him over towards you and I go, then you are in charge of him. If he comes at me, he will die.
Give Grundle his things.
Whatever I took from him, I throw down on the ground. And I back up.
Grundle, you can see, he's a little hurt.
I will pull a fine silk tunic out of my pouch and hand it to him, which will be way too big for him. So then I will take a length of rope and kind of cinch it up around his waist so that it's kind of like overhangs the rope so it's not dragging on the ground. So he at least has some clothes on. That will do for now, I suppose.
It's quite soft, actually.
It is my favorite dress, so don't destroy it, okay?
I will try my best.
I'll take a couple steps forward and pick up the rest of my belongings off the ground and give another sort of sideways glance at Malik.
And I look at you and I say, don't do anything stupid.
Let's move.
Grundle, as you were collecting your things and, being dressed by Dandelion, while you have resisted the urge to feed on those around you, it's clearly taking a toll on you. It's like, I don't know if all of you have been like, you feel like you are like starving and like your stomach is like starting to cramp. You are so hungry, right? Those feelings, like, they're not subsiding, those kind of physical feelings. Despite being as washboard shredded as you are, like you almost like you have, you're like more in tune with your physical being right in this new form. Like as if not feeding, you're just, you're wasting away, but you're not getting physically weaker, you're getting mentally weaker as your intelligence score is reduced by 1 point.
Oof. Thank goodness I'm not a wizard.
I'm looking around in the woods, listening. Do I hear anything for those vampires that were there before, or any other noises from the woods?
Yeah, anybody that would like to can give me a perception check. Grundle, I will also say you no longer have a level of exhaustion now either.
Ravina gets 24.
10 for Malik.
21 for Dandelion.
15 for Grundle.
Okay, wow. So Dandelion and Ravina hitting the DC of 20 with your perception check. You know, if you as you've kind of stopped to listen, and then now you settle up with Grundle as you continue forward. It's clear that they're being followed by something in the trees now. The movement feels like it's more. You detect more than two beings this time, like clearly following you. Like it seems like, especially Ravina with your 24, they're maintaining some form of distance, but still just always on your trail.
Do you have any new, senses, Grundle? There's something following us. Is it one of you?
What do you mean, one of me?
Vampire.
Where?
Definitely something. Many somethings.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so hard to see in here. I mean, let's just keep following the rod, I guess.
This way.
I don't, Leland, I don't have any, improved vision or senses or anything like that, right?
If you didn't have dark vision before, you have dark vision now to 60 feet. Is there something, specific you want to try?
Can you jump higher now?
You know, I don't really know much about what's changed about me. I do feel a little bit different, but I suppose I could try. So Grundle tries to jump as high as he can.
It looks like your jumping ability hasn't really improved.
Can you turn into a bat?
Oh,
I feel like
that
we're
would
wasting
be
time.
interesting.
I'm asking as we're walking.
Sure.
I let me concentrate.
Don't hurt yourself.
No, I don't think a bat is really in the cards for me. Pardon the pun. I don't really feel like I can see all that much farther or sense all that much more either. But I know Malik is awful suspicious of me. I do feel a bit hungry, to be honest. But I don't want to do anything to hurt you guys.
You think an animal would work?
Well, right, yeah, maybe if there was an animal, or if we come across another enemy, I could maybe just have a tiny taste.
I keep moving, way up ahead, and looking back occasionally. But I want to keep about 10 foot in front of Grundle, 10 foot away from Grundle at any point in time. If he runs towards me, I'm running. Little gnome.
Nibbling at your ankles.
Okay, and you continue forward, and I assume Dandelion with the divining rod, using it to navigate.
Yes.
Again, this path just kind of twists and turns, and it seems like it comes up to do a 180 to almost come back on itself, or running back parallel to itself as you're walking for another kind of unknown amount of time. And as you are progressing, it's like all of you can now hear the creatures in the dark, in the trees, moving around you, and it seems like now suddenly there's just no pretense of stealth from whatever is out there. You begin to hear very close to you howls again, much like you heard as you had first walked through the bramble. There comes to a point where there's almost like you hear like this exchange, like a series of growls again from off in the darkness, past this minimal torchlight that you have to light your way. It's accompanied by like kind of almost like this screech or this hissing. Grundle, why don't you give me a nature check with advantage, please?
That is an 18.
While you're not wholly familiar with every new thing that you can do or are connected to, you get this sense as this exchange is occurring, like almost like you've walked into this tether, like you're suddenly like pulled or connected to whatever's in the dark, and you just know like it is the vampire that bit you, your sire.
Oof.
What would Grundle know about how that works as far as would I be considered a spawn, a vampire spawn, or basically like the relationship between a bitey and a biter? What sort of implications does that have?
Grundle, when you get this feeling, what is your instinct to do? Do you wish to probe this feel, like reach out to this feeling, or try to shut yourself off from this feeling?
Grundle is a little bit disturbed by these new changes and really doesn't like the urges that he's feeling, so he's probably going to try and shut himself out from whatever connection's happening or that he's feeling.
Make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
At 20 for 24.
I mean, it seems like you are pretty easily able to overcome or like sever this sudden connection that you felt. Now, whether that has to do with you're like a newborn almost as far as a vampire goes, or if it's related to distance between you and your sire currently, you don't really know. But as you are like quickly removing yourself from this connection, in those brief moments where it's like hit you and then you have the time to try to shut it down, you just kind of get flashes of like from someone else's point of view. You just know that you are seeing like your sire's point of view in the woods, and essentially you get like this seconds worth of view face to face with what looks like this like wolf man, the hybrid form, like a standing on two legs upright, like a humanoid would, but like canine and lupine features, just snarling in your sire's face, and then you sever that connection.
And do I know anything about what amount of control a sire would have over me? Have I read about anything of that sort, or if I would be like weak to them if I were to come to a point where I was in a battle against them?
You don't have any knowledge like that, like for something like that to be documented, it would have to be documented by a vampire spawn, right, and or their sire. All you really know is just what you're experiencing, and you know that there is some connection between you and it.
So I think I would probably assume that it's possible for the connection to go the other way as well. And also now I know that there's something more going on in this wood. So I just experienced something that I think we all should know about.
Yeah, we can see you're hardly dressed.
Well, something other than that. That thing that bit me, I think I might have some sort of connection to it. I just got a brief glimpse into it, like I was looking through someone else's eyes, and there was this big, huge wolf man talking to whoever bit me, I think.
I get the feeling we've been brought here as prey for these creatures. It wasn't like we were led here from false pretenses to begin with. Apparently the mayor may have just put us out here in this place to wander aimlessly until we're eaten or taken control of.
Could you tell where they were?
It's kind of hard. Not really. I got a bit of a sense that we were maybe getting close, but I sort of resisted it and pushed it back, so I don't know, I was worried that the connection could go both ways.
Yes, probably.
He's a liability. As long as he's with us, they know where we are.
No. I cut it off. It's done.
For now.
Well,
They probably know these woods.
maybe forever.
Right. Malik, what do you know about vampires?
They're best if they're re-dead.
Right. Dead.
I can hear that.
Can you hear better than before?
No, they're just very bad at whispering.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
Sorry.
Let's move on and try to find a way out of this. Hopefully, Grundle, you can keep yourself from turning any further. I would hate to have to kill you, but I will. Move on. We move forward. If he's standing by, I push him.
Stop that. Look. You stay up there and I'll stay back here. We can just be friends at a distance.
Our friendship ended the moment you died.
I like to think that we grew apart a little bit, but we're still sort of friends. We grew 10 feet apart.
I look over at Ravina. I don't like this at all.
Same.
He could still prove useful. He hasn't hurt any of us yet. Maybe he could eat one of those vampires or those wolf men he was talking about.
Ooh, a wolf might satisfy your hunger.
I mean, it very well might.
Maybe stop making those noises with your lips.
What?
Please.
What noises? I think you're hearing things.
I just keep on pressing on.
Okay, Malik and Ravina, could you give me a survival check, please?
8.
With a +6, that's 11.
Okay, well, even Ravina with your 11, and perhaps Malik, you're a little distracted with Grundle's situation currently for this to kind of dawn on you. But Ravina, like it's very clear you being on this trail makes you incredibly easy to follow for this wolf pack.
But the brush gives us exhaustion.
Well, the foliage around you is different than the brambles that you push through. You know, there's not like thorny bramble bushes all around you. Now, obviously, the divining rod is taking you down this trail, but it seems like off the path. Like you could venture that way if you so chose, but clear on this trail, you're an easy mark for anything following it.
Malik, what do you think about leaving the trail? I'm realizing how exposed we are.
The road seems to run in circles anyway.
The rod will guide us.
I mean, the rod tells us to go this way.
Yeah, but that's the easy way.
Is the rod always pointing the direction of the road as we go, or is it points off into the forest and we just follow the road?
It is pointing along the trail. It seems that while it's clearly taking you in this circuitous route, it's like taking you through, you know, the most easily navigable route, right? And that is clearly the long way, like the long, like roundabout way.
So you think I would believe this is sort of snaking back and forth, like from for sake of argument, south to north, but you know, cutting back on itself over and over again, rather than taking us in a complete circle where we would come back to where we already were.
Yes, I'd say that's a fair assessment. I mean, as far as you are able to perceive, like you haven't stumbled upon a patch that you believe you've already traveled, right? Like you're not coming back and then finding your own tracks in the trail or anything like that.
Like, just into the woods, a bit off the road, you know? Kind of like alongside the road. Less visible, but still close.
We could do that. We could also let these two walk on the road. We could go off and maybe try to find these other creatures and take them out.
Again, you're not very good at whispering.
I'm not whispering.
You want to leave us by ourselves? Defenseless?
You holding a torch with Grundle? No, we'll be nearby. But
as bait.
They'll be following you. Yes. Of course.
We could catch them, get the jump on them, you know?
The other option is to wait till they attack us or ambush us.
You guys hold the torches, we're on either side, parallel to the road.
trees on either side of us, are they impenetrable, or can we walk through them like a regular forest-looking area?
You can certainly like bushwhack through them, but again, it is very thick. But definitely, if you use the effort, you could traverse off the trail. Yes.
I would suggest that Ravina and I go off the trail, maybe 50, 60 feet in. Let you two walk on the road, see if we can hear these things around us, and also sort of get an idea of the lay of the land, maybe. If we find another pathway, we'll yell at you.
Now, keep in mind, Malik, you've certainly witnessed this. While you are outside of a light source's radius, you can really not see into that radius. You rather see a swarmed around and condensed point of light of which this strange darkness of the forest affects. And it's really not until you step into that outer radius of dim light with your dark vision that you can then see into the bright light section. So you won't exactly have a clear picture of what would be happening on the road. Say if Dandelion and Grundle were to remain with the torch, you would still be able to see the source of the torchlight and be able to move towards it if you heard something but you wouldn't be able to clearly see if something was attacking them in the extent of that radius.
What's the distance I can see when I don't have a torch and I'm I'm out in the forest?
You know that there's you've seen as you were progressing before you got jumped by the vampires, right? You saw pinpoints of light off in the distance, up in the foliage, right? So you'd come to the conclusion that you could move a relatively far distance away and still be able to make out the source of a light. Now, again, if you were to move on the trail, you would be in complete darkness around you.
One problem, Malik. We go over there. I was following you, but I can't see. I tried.
Okay, then I sort of stop. I look up to the north and I go, let's all go this way then. And lead on with the torch into the thick of the forest with torches. Who has the torches? I have one in the front, and I think somebody needs to be in the back.
I can be in the back, Dandelion in the middle with the rod, I guess. And keep my eyes on Grundle and his little soft bottom quite closely.
Okay, yeah, so you are on kind of an east to west length of road, so you're going to move north off of the path. As you do so, you step into the thick of the forest, bushwhacking. If you're taking your bladed weapons and hacking at shrubbery and growth, right, to make a passageway enough for you to easily walk through. The direction that you've chosen, you had no way of knowing, but you step and you make it 10 feet through this bushwhacking, and the person in front, Malik, you suddenly come upon this fissure, a ledge, an edge into darkness below you.
So it's like a sheer cliff?
Yeah, suddenly you're almost stepping over it as the light, casts down as far as it can. From the 10 feet of bright to 10 feet of dim, so 20 feet down you can't see the bottom still. It's still into darkness. And then the rest of you kind of almost bump into him, right, sending him over this edge as he halts you, and you all see this opening, this cliff that you're on.
Well, this was a brilliant idea.
Behind you, as Dandelion snarks her remark there, you hear the bristle and this snarling of the pack. Clearly, they've kind of emerged onto this trail behind you, and you can just hear them start to sniff. You can hear the air sniffing in the air, right?
Not this way. Can I go sort of on a westerly, on the edge of the ravine or the drop off? Can I move along that way?
Sure, yeah. So you want to move essentially to your left then?
Yep. Sort of on the edge.
Yeah, absolutely. You can trail the edge of this fissure. Immediately though, you find yourself stuck or in front of some of those black thorny brambles, like this large growth of it in this direction. You certainly don't notice them to your right.
I stop, turn around, and this way's no good. We're getting ourselves backed into a corner.
We are we?
Ravina, that way.
Okay. I'll follow whatever way he pointed.
I'm pointing the opposite way, like to the east.
Grundle will sort of try and shuffle quickly to put some space between him and Malik and get moving back in the opposite direction.
Could Grundle and Dandelion give me an Arcana check, please? In fact, all of you, Ravina and Malik, you all have some type of magic capabilities.
13.
Dandelion has a 17.
Malik is a 14.
12 for Grundle.
Those that got 14 or higher, you get this feeling like that weight pressing down on you as you that you felt strengthen as you had pushed past that brambly section after fighting the Undying and the Draugr. Now that you're on this precipice, this fissure is clearly the source of that power. Like, it is just like washing over its edge and like rolling. If it was water, you would just be soaked with its energy, like waves of it pouring out of this fissure.
Can we see the other side of it? Like, how wide is this?
With the extent of the light you have, like just holding it in your hand, you don't see the other side of it.
I throw my torch down into the pit.
As you drop it, it falls, outside of that 20 feet you could see, it falls another 10 before it hits the bottom. And now you being outside of its radius, you just see kind of like this little like centered light down in the blackness. But you've learned that it's about 30 feet deep.
Oh, Malik, you dropped that thing. Let me grab it for you.
And Grundle...
Yes, go down and get it.
Grundle sort of, without really thinking twice, even though it seems like a bizarre thing he would never do, he starts to try and traverse down the side of this fissure.
Grundle, wait, let me give you the rope.
No, he's already started. And you see that Grundle is able to sort of cling to the side of the wall as he goes down.
Is that a new thing?
Oh wow, I guess it is.
Are you like sticking to the wall?
Well, it kind of just happened. I guess I can do this now. Listen, this is quite the trick. Wow.
How does it feel down there?
I guess it feels like it did up there.
Interesting.
What do you see?
Keep going down.
Could each of you give me a wisdom saving throw, please?
Oh boy.
That would be a 5.
Well, it's a 5 for Grundle as well, but he has a +4 to wisdom.
15 for Dandelion.
14 for Malik.
So nat 1.
Yeah, we all can do the math.
Malik and Dandelion, you are fine. But Grundle and Ravina each take 6 necrotic damage, as now, like, you're all now well aware of the negative energy that's just pouring out of this fissure. And now, so you've started that moving east, right? And you basically make it another like 30 feet east before you drop in your torch, and you run into another section of those thorny brambles. Again, from behind you could hear the snarls of the packs, and they're now within your light's radius, even peering through the thick trees. And you see them start to enter, and as they creep closer, like they almost creep within 20 feet of this edge, and they're hesitant to move any further forward. Like it's just, they like prowling this perimeter, right, with their eyes on you. And you see that there's 4 of them just like almost like doing the semicircle prowl back and forth around kind of this 20-foot radius from the edge.
They're smarter than we are.
Should we shoot them?
Can we get a shot of?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you would like to roll initiative, you can. If that's what you want to do, if you want to try to fight them, we can roll initiative.
I would like for us to fight them and them not to fight us. Do we need initiative for that?
Is that an option?
Yeah.
Could we do that option, please?
Yeah, I don't want to roll initiative. I just want to shoot them.
They're far enough away. We could pepper some shots.
It's clear now to you that the longer you stay close to this fissure, the more damage and the more wisdom saving throws you're going to have to do. So if you want to get into initiative, we can do it, and then we can keep track of how often and when you have to do that.
Guys, I'm getting hurt. This hurts to be by this thing. We gotta go. Maybe we take the road.
Grundle makes a bit more haste, speeds up his climb down to the bottom to retrieve the torch.
We have more torches.
Quick, let's go.
Okay, Grundle. So you're at the bottom, Grundle, and you've picked up the torch now. And now in that, remember, you just always remember you can see 20 feet ahead of you with a torch in your person. And you still, from the bottom, 20 feet across, like it's essentially like you're standing at the top ledge. You can't see the other side within this light source. Do you want to move forward as you've stepped into like the wall you just walked down essentially is like this sheer rocky cliff face, and now that you're at the bottom in the light, it's like the ground itself is like reflective, and it's almost like it's this dark glossy like obsidian kind of type, like almost like this black glass on the bottom. And I mean, yes, and you can feel the power that's emanating from here. So do you want to move forward or you want to go back up?
I'll take a few steps forward and see what the light casts itself on as I explore a bit farther.
As you are, taking your movement forward, you do eventually find like another kind of sheer cliff face, and you learn that this fissure is about 50 feet wide, and now you're at the other side of it at the bottom. And okay, so if someone up top while Grundle is doing this, you want to take some shots at some of these werewolves, you absolutely can.
Because the werewolves are between us and the road now, right?
They are, yes.
So I pull up my bow and I sort of notch an arrow looking at these wolves, and I look over the edge down. Little bloodsucker, where are you? What's down there?
I yell up from the other edge of this ravine.
Guys, I think we could climb up the other side of this. Can you put a rope down, maybe?
This is the best course of action here. Give me your rope. I look over at Dandelion.
Say please.
Hurry!
We don't have time for this. And I slide over the edge of the ravine down in 30 feet.
While this is happening, Grundle's going to start climbing up the other edge to scout out what's at the top, basically, because I can't quite see that high, I don't think.
No, you can't see the top from the bottom. Okay, so then so Malik, you're going right over the edge. You're going to scramble down. Dandelion, what are you doing?
What does the side look like? Like, what does it feel like?
Oh, it's like kind of craggy rock. It's not entirely smooth. There's definitely potential to get like foot and handholds, but it is like, up and down, kind of very sheer. There's no real slope to it at all.
Can I do another perception or something to see if I can just feel what I felt before? Like the oppressiveness of it?
You mean like the damage specifically, or because like you're always being pressed in upon by this force, right? It's a similar experience as to when you pass through those original brambles into this part of the forest, like the pressure like cranked up, and now that you're close to this, it's like it's being ratcheted up again.
Right, we got to move fast.
I will take a deep breath and hold on to the bunny and the divining rod and climb down as best I can.
Okay, Ravina, what are you doing?
I guess we gave up on the rope, and I stumble down.
The three of you can give me an athletics check, please.
19 for Dandelion.
10. 10 for Ravina.
6.
I'm proficient, if you can't tell.
Okay, so Malik and Ravina, you basically step over the side and plummet to the bottom, taking 13 bludgeoning damage as you hit into that same like glassy bottom, and like as you do, like it also splinters, like glass almost beneath you, like you've put like these concentric cracks through where you've contacted. Dandelion, you make it about halfway down before you can give me another athletics.
And then I fall and like bust through the bottom because it's already splintered. I rolled a 1.
Okay, so yes, you also lose your footing and plummet, but not as far. You're going to only take 6 bludgeoning damage. As the three of you are tumbling and sliding down the side of it, you see like at its edge, movement above in the trees, right in the foliage, and as that radius of the torch is coming down with Ravina as she's going down, the 2 vampire spawn are like leap past the wolves to the edge, right? As it like just grasping for you, they're clawing at you as you jump down. Grundle, you just hear the voice from the other side of the fissure. My swan, come to me, feed.
Oh no.
And can you make me a wisdom saving throw again, please?
A 9.
You feel that connection in you again, right? And you were unable to shunt it this time. And you were about to start your spider climb up the other side of it, right? Before you know your raised hands at the side of this rock kind of go back down to your side, and you turn towards the source of the voice. And as it's saying, "Feed with us," can you make a Constitution saving throw again, please? As that hunger, that pit in your stomach that has not gone away, but kind of subsided through your force of will, it starts to grow and increase.
Okay, 14 this time. Bit better.
That is more than enough. As again, though, you're able to wrangle and drive out that hunger, tamp it down. Again, not completely. This extreme force of will that you've been exerting here since you became a vampire spawn, you kind of break out of its voice, right? You just like shake your head or put your hands over your ears and block out your sire's voice. Again, you've gotten rid of that hunger and you've resisted that urge to feed. Your intelligence unfortunately does reduce by 1 point. Is again, like physically you're not beginning to weaken yet, but mentally your faculties are slowly draining out of you the longer you're going without feeding. The rest of you now kind of back up onto your feet. I assume trying to get the heck out of this fissure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I yell over as I'm running across the fissure. Climb up either side, drop down a rope. Yelling to Grundle. So I don't have a torch, so I'm sort of running from Ravina's torch towards Grundle's torch.
Dandelion, yeah, that's a good idea. Give me a rope and I'll bring it up with me. I'm quite good at climbing, it turns out.
Okay, here you go.
So I kind of wrap it around my wrist or my forearm and start climbing with the torch between my teeth.
Okay, and you see as Grundle puts that torch between his teeth like he's got elongated canine teeth,
I was
right?
gonna say,
His
she got canines, yeah.
reaching over the handle of that torch now, right?
Oh,
and
dear.
his red eyes like glistening, almost glowing in the torchlight.
Not helping his defense.
He like scampers right up this side of this cliff, and you can all, though still now in the presence of this fissure, you can make me another wisdom saving throw. Because the 3 of you fell, you have disadvantage on this saving throw.
16 for Dandelion.
Oh, great. So with a +3, I got a 4.
Hey, I know what that means.
6.
Well, Ravina and Malik, you only take 3 necrotic damage. Dandelion, you are okay, but you can kind of see like Malik and Ravina, like the where you fell and then had gotten up absentmindedly, having to dust off like the debris and crystalline fragments from where you smashed into the bottom of this thing, quickly dusting it off of yourself. Grundle, up at the top, you're able to secure the rope up there, throw it over the side. The rest of you can make me another athletics check to get up the rope. Very low DC though, so don't roll a critical fail.
11! That's better than 10.
Hey, 12.
12 for me as well.
Okay, you are able to get up, and again, it's like another 30 feet up. up and over to the other side of this fissure, and you find yourself kind of, again, immediately to your left is like another source of bramble, and you're like in this 30 to 35 foot open section between these spots of that thorny bramble and wood. I assume pressing into the woods to get away from the effects of this fissure.
Yes.
The second you're 25 feet away from its edge, the pressure lessens ever so slightly, but enough where you're no longer affected by the majority of that negative energy flooding out of this opening, this crack that seems, you have no idea how far left or right of you, right? This fissure runs through this forest.
The sounds of these vampires and wolves, are they distant, or can we not even hear them anymore?
I mean, you can certainly hear still snarling and howls, but it doesn't appear that anything has chased you across the opening.
This is a good time to lose them. Let's keep pressing forward.
Yeah, let's put some distance between us and them. I don't like that one guy.
Did any of you get badly hurt?
I'm okay for now.
I feel really tired.
I'm gonna pat Grundle on the head. I know. I'm sorry, honey. There's nothing I can do for you.
Let's keep moving. We need to stay away from them.
Don't be too friendly with him. It'll hurt more when you have to put him down.
Okay, course of action now.
We're gonna press forward north. Not really stopping. Make a pretty good pace through whatever, as we hack through the forest.
Hold on, and I'll see which way the divining rod wants us to go.
Okay, can you make me an Arcana check, please, Dandelion?
Ooh, 19.
Okay, excellent. Who is going to be leading the charge then? The rod is pointing you into the forest, and it is in it seems like it's in this. I mean, obviously your orientation, you're not sure what direction you're facing, but for the purposes of how we'll describe it, in this north direction.
That way, Malik.
Here. Get up here. Show me the direction.
Straight that way.
Okay. I look at the thing and head that direction.
Malik, then you can give me a survival check with advantage, which you have a level of exhaustion, yeah, so it's a straight roll.
11. God, it's terrible rolls tonight.
I think Malik needs a new set of dice.
Yeah, I think 12 is the highest I've rolled all night.
With the rod to guide you, it's not like you ever really get fully off track, but with using that direction, and Malik, you attempting to navigate the party again, an unknown amount of time passes where each of you're getting tired. It's clearly been, long enough for you to think that you feel like you need to hit a bed, right? To hit a bedroll kind of thing. But this additional wandering is going to inflict a level of exhaustion to each of you. And that's our show. For more Aspara information, visit incorrigibleparty.com, where you can find all of our social media links, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, as well as our Patreon. Our patrons get exclusive content like blooper reels and patron-only mini-campaigns. Our theme music was created by Josh Jarvis. For any of your musical needs, you can contact him at jamesmercymusic@gmail.com. Well, the rest of our sounds and music throughout our plays provided by tabletopaudio.com. And of course, our show sponsor, Critical Hit Design. For your design needs, visit criticalhitdesign.com. Happy adventuring. This has been a Sounds of Steel production.